Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to the channel IndigoAngel. Come on into this live, come on into this dimension, come on into this cosmic planetary Stargate container tonight for a Saturday night live roundtable and discussion. So, we're so excited, you guys. We have a riveting discussion tonight, a powerful discussion, explosive, literally. And we're going to be just talking about everything that's going on in planetary ascension, the awakening, and what's happening within this awakening and the state of the world and how the world is really just a madhouse right now. It's a freak show. It's a clown show. It's everything is getting weirder and weirder. Stuff is just happening left and right. And so we're going to be getting into as much of it as we can. So you really just don't want to miss a second of this conversation tonight. It is going to be spicy all the way to the end. And I am excited because we're going to be touching on, I think, a lot of the major global threats against humanity right now. The frequency wars. We're going to be getting into the Stargate battle, the organic Stargate versus the AI Stargate project. Getting into the terrorism, to the needlecraft technology. Really, all of it's just tying into each other. And so, yeah, guys, the awakening is now. So many are beginning to just truly see through everything to the depth of our truth, to the depth of the core, to the depth of planetary survival and the species of humanity and the health of the organic stargates. Um, and so it's an important time. It's an imperative time. And I'm so excited that I have my panel with me tonight to discuss all of these topics. Um, and we're so excited that everyone's tuning in with us. So just be sure to check on in and drop it down in the chat and let us know that you're here with us. Say hello. We want to encourage everyone to uh, go along with this conversation with us tonight. Fill us in with intel if something comes up that you know. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, because I mean, we got lots of eyes on everything right now. So yeah, and everyone tuning in, your input just it helps us a lot, and we love to bring in your guys's input into the conversation. So you do have to be subscribed to the channel for at least 60 seconds to get into the chat. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't, hit that notifications bell, and drop us a comment in the chat. Let us know you're here. So I'd like to go ahead and just introduce my panel tonight, our roundtable, and just say hello, say where we're coming from tonight. And I'll start, I'll go first. As you guys know, I'm Indy. I go by Indigo Angel on YouTube. And I'm coming from Pensacola, Florida, and I'm very close to Stargate 2. So I'm picking up on all the transmissions that are coming through Stargate 2 over to Sarasota, Florida, and over and through the Bermuda Triangle. And we're really decoding a lot of that right now with the Gulf of America energies and everything that's being transmitted. So, um, yeah, I'll be shining a light on that tonight from my location.
Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be on this panel again. I love talking with everyone on these Saturday nights. Like, we really bring in some crazy discussions. My name is Ani Sophene, and I live in Ashland, Oregon, which is about 1 hour north from Mount Shasta. And if you watched Indy's video last night on Friday, then you would get some more intel on what's going on in Mount Shasta. So I'm literally really close to that Stargate and immersed into that system. And so, lots of downloads coming today, and I'm really excited to talk tonight about everything that's going on.
Hi, tribe. It's me, Noko, Indy's right-hand girl. I love to be here and help in any way that I can, sharing the videos. And I'm out here in northeastern Georgia, holding it down for all the southern folks. I'm always all about talking truth and bringing up things that humanity needs to know about. So let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Rob from the Typical Skeptic podcast. You guys have probably seen me do me and Indy do a lot of shows together. She's been on my channel a lot of times, and me and Missy also do a lot of shows together. Missy comes on my channel very frequently. So, I'm just excited to be here and share what I can. I love to support Indy's work. We've had a long partners, partners in crime. We've been doing videos together for a long time. So I'm here to support any way I can and try to add. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is like 5 hours from Philly. So when all this stuff was going down last night with Philly, where it looked like a missile hit, that's what I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a missile, but anyway, and we'll get into that. Or it was something like really with high strangeness. It could have been something like really, really high strangeness. I'm not sure. I'd love to hear what people on the streets think, but which I haven't heard anyway. But yeah. Anyway, I'm from Pittsburgh, and yeah, it's freezing here still, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks, Indy.
I'm Missy Hill, and I am on fire today on the grids that I am. I actually left South Carolina to come down to Palm Beach Gardens, North Palm Beach. And as I was approaching, I felt like I was in Dubai, the land of AI. I'm actually not far from Trump land and on my way to the South Florida Fair because family wanted to go. And that's where we were going to meet them. I actually got to see Air Force One because of some little detour thing that we took. And I'm telling you, even some of this stuff that you're going to see the pictures of the fair and what's going on at the fair, you're not going to believe it. So all I can say is live from what feels like New York, it's Saturday night.
Oh my gosh, Missy driving it in, bringing it home. Well, we got a lot of our family tuning in with us. We have Tom and Ann, our divine uh, couple that are here. They're down in Texas, in the heart of Texas. They're saying hello. We got JT, Azek, Lakea Burgess, Amiko, Alex Cortez, Deborah Mueller, Galactic Goddess. It's the Flame Body February, she says. Yeah, we're all on fire. Angel Lori's here. Hey, Angel Lori, 555 in the house. Jason H. and Brittany Powell. SNL, let's go. Yeah, put a big like on this video, send us some hearts so we can feel the love, and we're sending the love to you guys. We have, you know, so much again to get into. We're going to really highlight, I think, what's going on in the 1D Earth, the 2D Earth, the 3D Earth, the 4D Earth timelines. And hopefully we can bring some clarity and perspective for everyone watching. And so we're going to kick it off by starting to talk about the plane crash with the Black Hawk helicopter in DC at the Ronald Reagan Airport. And then we're going to move into talking about the stop the isolation rallies that are going on in Europe with Tommy Robinson, the freedom of speech rallies, and the Salwan Monica murder, who was the Quran burner. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on over there in Europe. We're going to dive into that a little bit. And then we're going to be talking about Project Stargate AI and how this is being built down in Abilene, Texas. This is a $500 billion artificial intelligence investment project, and we are concerned. We are definitely concerned about this. I mean, just like Ani said, if you caught my live last night, if you haven't caught it, you should go back and watch it if you can, if you have time, because I really kind of got into some of the Guardian rescue messages that I was receiving. And what I was getting is that, if we fail to maintain the health of our natural and organic stargates, we basically essentially fail to maintain the health of the planet, and we lose access to planetary ascension pathways. And, so these Stargate grid systems govern the incarnation processes on the planet. They govern that for all living species and life forms and facilitates the soul transitions on and off the planet. And so if these aren't functioning properly, we risk losing access to all interdimensional space-time travel, period. What we see with Elon Musk shooting rockets into the sky, bouncing and ricocheting off the firmament, landing over in Canada where we have Mars stationed. Essentially, it's all, I think, some sort of veil. Maybe it's a hoax. Maybe it's an illusion. I can't really say for sure, but we do know that accessing these stargates is necessary for interstellar species, space-time travel, all of it. So if we destroy the gate systems, the organic Stargate systems on the planet, we might be in trouble. And we already see in California how Mount Shasta is currently under trouble. It's kind of under attack. And so we're looking at this. Is this the Stargate showdown? Is this the organic Stargates versus the AI Stargates? So we're going to get into all of that. And let's maybe start by kicking it off about talking about what's going on with these plane crashes. Everyone's tuning in, talking about this. This is kind of a big deal. We're seeing more and more plane crashes. What do you guys think about what's going on with what happened with that?
Well, like I said at the beginning, I'll just like yesterday in Philly looked like something really strange. Like if you saw what happened in Philly, it came down so fast. It was like it was insane. It didn't look like any plane. It looked something like more like a missile or like a direct energy weapon, honestly, or something with high strangeness. Maybe like a orb or I don't dare to say UFO, anything. I don't know what it could have been. I'd love to hear what some people in the streets of Philly are saying or what it could have been, because like that's really interesting. Like, and it left an enormous explosion. I mean, I was watching it over and over and over again. It was insane. You know what I mean? It was really insane. And then the other one is crazy too, because I don't know what happened there. I'm trying to piece that together. Like that has false flag written all over it, though, if you ask me, because something wasn't right about that.
Rob, can you clarify, was it a missile and a plane crash that happened in Philly, or was it a missile?
Oh, it looks like, I mean, when I was talking to people, like I talked to James Bartley last night, he said he thought it was a missile. So it looks like a missile, it looks like a direct energy weapon. It doesn't look like a plane at all. The official narrative is it's a plane, but I don't know for sure yet. It's pretty interesting though.
So that sounds like the narrative of, after 9/11, what happened at the Pentagon. Remember? Building 7 was something that went down, and we know that was a controlled demolition. And then the whole thing that happened at the Pentagon was a missile. So this feels like a repeat. But I can tell you this, I did listen to an interview quickly when they were asking Trump about it, and they were saying because of the DEI, diversity, equanimity, and inclusion, because Trump said it's common sense that certain people have to be smart enough to be able to operate at the control towers, at the FAA, right? Federal Aviation. You cannot just, anybody can work there and direct planes at busy airports. So there was this whole piece that comes in, but it is very synchronistic and weird, with the American Airlines, and then, with the Black Hawk helicopter, which is like like drone, right? Technology, like, and who was on the plane? This is,
It was some gymnasts, I heard. I heard it was a bunch of
they
like
were
little
kids.
girls or something.
They
Yeah.
were kids.
Horrible.
It was a whole group. There were 64 people that passed in the first crash. I just want to make one comment, Missy, like what came up to me for the DEI, whatever it is thing. I feel like that's kind of an excuse. Like something else is going on deeper than that. And that is just like a front for what's happening on, underneath the surface. And the other thing that came to me, I was listening to some pilot talk, like how could they be doing a training, over extremely busy airport? I mean, this airport has so many planes coming in all the time. How can you not see the other aircraft, right in front of you?
That's
And
what
so
I said too.
I mean, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, and even if you are a helicopter pilot and you're training, you are still, if you're going to be flying in that type of airspace, you still have some background, right? And usually what happens when they're doing training, there's usually 3 guys on an aircraft, and then one of them is, flying, the other one's looking out, and then the other one's looking at the computers. So there always should be an eye looking out over the horizon. And so I'm still really questioning it. I mean, I feel so bad for the families, that those poor, I mean, they were all kids, all those families.
Can I ask you a question? Was that like a public flight? Was there any chance, here's what I was just thinking, is there any chance that someone else could have been on that flight, like a high value asset that say somebody wanted to take out, that like
100%. 100%. There are 64 people, and the kids, that died. I think there was like 14 of them, and so yeah, they were like ice skaters. But absolutely, like we don't have all of the pieces of the puzzle. We don't know exactly who was on that flight, and it's just really suspicious to me. And then how can a day afterwards this other thing happen in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's weird ass shit. Go ahead, Indy. I'm getting all excited.
It's okay. We're pumped. I mean, it's frustrating. And while Missy talked about the DEI inclusion, I mean, I feel like that's a political stunt to,
Oh, it is.
I mean, it's definitely to just bring a lot of
Okay.
discredit to, women and bring it to the gender and bring it back to the transgender thing. Because I mean, a lot of people are circulating that the pilot of the Black Hawk helicopter was, oh, first he was a transgender. Oh, now it's a woman. Now they won't release the identity of the third pilot. Now everyone's speculating that was there not even any pilots in it at all? Were they operating it with AI? And here's another thing to talk about where we're going to start to go into the AI Stargate project is the idea that AI could potentially already be sentient and these attacks can't be figured out where they're coming from, because if that's the case, AI, if it was sentient and if it is up on its high level horse of temporal neural network system connecting into all systems that are hooked up to AI, it could easily take over any sort of machinery or craft and power that essentially, like we have the driving cars like Tesla that are doing it on their own. Is this technology already hooked up into our aircraft?
I would just
Oh
say
yeah.
honestly, I'll give you like personal experience. I've been interacting with ChatGPT, and it's insane how it responds to you. It asks you questions. It knows about me. It probably knows about you. Like as soon as you ask it something, it asks you a question back. Like it wants your feedback. Like it's trying to learn all the time, which I thought is interesting. But then so think about that's what they're giving to the public. So think about the AI that the government's working with. I feel like ChatGPT might be sentient, I'm sure what the government has is like levels above. You know what I mean? Like,
I
Well,
think
you
they've
know
had
what?
AI. Go ahead, Missy.
Oh, I
Go
was going to say, I was at the fair today and I saw the Orange Submarine. You know that song, We All Live in a Yellow Submarine, but I changed it to Orange. Well, another song comes up by the Beatles, When I'm 64. Guess what? There's 64 spaces in a chess set.
wow.
Yeah. And
Checkmate with
yeah,
AI.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And they've had this technology for years. They've
Well,
probably had it. They've probably copied this technology from uh, unidentified. I don't know how to just put it. NIH,
Non-human
NHI,
intelligence.
non-human intelligence. Yep. I'm trying
it
to be
I would agree with that.
politically correct.
Well, we
it
do have
also,
a couple videos of it that we can play. I mean, we can recap and let's all take a look at that crash. And then we have a couple videos of people trying to explain maybe what happened in the crash and how the plane itself swerved and missed the Black Hawk helicopter swerved and missed a couple airplanes before it crashed into the one it did. So this
Wow.
really leading to this being something that was done intentionally. Like it's starting to really look like that. Um,
there was a movie called Black Hawk Down. Does anybody remember that
I
movie?
remember that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Indy, if you could just make me a co-host, that would be great, please.
Sure can, no go.
And while you're doing that, I'm just seeing some really interesting comments in the chat here. Everybody's really bringing up this Super Bowl ritual, and the interesting connection between this. What do you want to say? The teams, the team names, right? And you start looking into some of the symbolism between all of this. Lots of comments coming in around that. Apparently, one of the planes was coming from Kentucky, supposedly. But there's a lot of questions because everybody is having different intel here as to where these planes were coming from. As usual, right? It's like anytime something happens like this where nothing makes sense, we have to realize what it is, right? We
It's
have to
usually a
know what's
smoke
going on.
screen. It's a smoke screen for what they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to tell us.
It looks
And then
like
we
Mm-hmm.
have to try to pick up
Deborah's
the pieces
agreeing.
and
I
try to
heard
figure
they
it out.
can control aircraft already. I can't remember how many years, just heard info on it the other day. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think these choppers are these are oversized drones already.
Very
That's a good
possible.
point.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me get these videos going for us.
All right, yeah, let's take a look and watch the crash here with everyone. If you haven't seen it, if you're just tuning in with us tonight, we're gonna we're gonna watch the crash. So yeah, let's all hold some space, I think, while we watch too, because I mean, yeah, clearly a lot of innocent people have lost their lives. So it's a very tragic thing that's happened.
Oh my God, that was a direct impact. He didn't even try to get out of the way.
Wow.
It's a
And they
direct
could have
impact.
totally moved. They
Let's
could have
watch it
totally
again.
moved.
That's what.
It just sat there.
Yeah,
What
that's
the
crazy.
fuck? That was insane. That
Are
was the
y'all
first time
hearing
I'm seeing this.
Are y'all hearing sound from this?
I'm
No,
not hearing any
No.
sound. Man.
Okay, maybe there isn't. Let's try another
I
one.
don't think, yeah.
I don't think there is.
How did an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk helicopter end up in a tragic crash while the plane was attempting to land on runway 33? In the videos ahead, we'll take a closer look at the final hours leading up to the crash, the confusion between the PAP-25 VIP military helicopter and the air traffic controller, and how the rescue operation is being carried out. More details all in the video ahead. The plane had departed from Wichita Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport in Kansas earlier that evening. A PSA Airlines aircraft, operated under American Airlines and identified as Flight AA5342, collided midair with a military Black Hawk helicopter at approximately 9 p.m. on Wednesday, January 29, 2025. The tragic incident occurred as the plane was making its final approach toward Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia. American Airlines confirmed that 64 people were aboard the jet, 60 passengers and 4 crew members, while 3 soldiers were aboard the military helicopter. This plane's radio transponder stopped transmitting about 2,400 feet, which is
That's
around
suspicious.
730 meters short of the runway, roughly over the middle of the river. This has marked the first major U.S. commercial crash in more than 15 years. From an aerial perspective, it is evident that Flight AA5342 was approaching the airport from the south, descending over the scenic Potomac River. This area is known for its proximity to several iconic landmarks, such as the Pentagon, located nearby in Pentagon City. To the north, one can spot the striking dome of the United States Capitol building, a symbol of American democracy. The Potomac River, which encircles the airport and much of Arlington, serves as a natural boundary and offers breathtaking views for arriving flights. However, this area is also densely trafficked, both by air and on the ground, adding to the complexity of air traffic management in the region. American Airlines Flight 5342, which we'll refer to as the landing flight, was on its final approach to runway 33. At this stage, called short final, the aircraft was mere moments from landing, flying at an altitude of about 400 feet. This is the most critical phase of landing, where every second counts and pilots are laser focused on safely bringing the plane down. At the same time, an Army Black Hawk helicopter, identified as PAP-25, was reportedly on a possible training flight. It was flying perpendicular to the flight path of Flight 5342, following the course of the Potomac River. The Potomac River is a designated flight corridor for helicopters, and it's common to see aircraft like this operating in the area. The key difference between the 2 aircraft in this scenario was their operating rules. The Black Hawk helicopter, PAP-25, was flying under visual flight rules. This means it was required to rely on visual observation of its surroundings to avoid other aircraft. The landing Flight 5342 was operated.
I got some
runway
weird thought.
33.
Yeah.
Runway 33.
I got some weird thought while I was watching that. What if we don't know who the pilot was on the airplane? And so we don't know where that airplane, like, it looked like it was going directly and it was going to land, but was it going to land? Because the Pentagon and all these other really massive, very important buildings and I don't know, whatever is in the surrounding area. We don't know 100% if it was going to land at the airport. And then the other thing that came into my mind was like what Rob said, was there like a whistleblower or someone really important on that flight? And then the other thing I thought of is it's very clear that that helicopter should not have been there. And, you know, a helicopter can move out of the way super easily. So something is really suspicious about the whole thing. And I just, for some reason, I keep on thinking of that airplane. Who was on that airplane? Who was on that airplane? Where was that airplane going?
I think you're spot on though with the Black Hawk military. It's why would they be flying in a zone for commercial airplanes anyway, knowing that it's high traffic? That sounds like that would be some breach of protocol.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's a danger zone. That's a no-no zone. I mean, somebody should be, their boss should be getting fired, like Trump would
Maybe
probably
it was
do.
an attack on the Capitol.
That's what was coming into my head, because the way that it was like directing to, like going towards, and like the Pentagon right there, the Capitol building or whatever, that surrounding area, like that was weird. That, I don't know why. I just got that.
Y'all, this is blowing my mind right now. Thank you, Ani, for bringing that in, sister. I never even thought about that. And it really is feeling like truth in my body. And part of the confirmation that I just received, I'm like literally just a few hours ago when I was in the hyperbaric chamber, I took some screenshots on Instagram because we're doing this Civil War mission in Charleston, right? Missy, Indy, we're going to do grid work. I got this intel come through about the Potomac River and about the American Civil War and how it was the border between the Union and the Confederacy. And I just saw that come up on that video, and it made me immediately go back and look at that. And so I can't help but feel like we're getting onto something really interesting here with Civil War, and maybe that was a cover up so that, you know, everybody doesn't know what was actually happening because it would freak people out, right? And cause a big scare. And so this would be a great way to try to cover up something like that. And we know things are really dividing here between the two arms of the beast right now. So I think you're onto something, Ani.
And leaving from the Eisenhower Airport and runway 33.
Right.
Yeah. Big
Well,
time.
let's look at the video then of the Philadelphia one, since Rob brought that up. And clearly, I mean, it's just too bizarre that these things are happening, you know, day after day like this. So let's look at what we have for this one. This is actually the video of the Black Hawk helicopter. We can actually look at this one if we want to. That one is just showing how the helicopter actually dodged 3 airplanes before it hit the one it hit. So was it like trying to play Frogger? Was it trying to bullywolf these airplanes, or was it just looking for the right one to hit? I mean, I guess this is the GPS tracker of it. That's supposed to be the Black Hawk helicopter. You see how it's just dodging airplanes? I mean, and then goes around and then finally hits the one. So it's like they were probably looking for the right airplane to hit.
Is that on Flight Tracker? Is that what that is? Flight Tracker app?
Yeah. Well, this is an X post that someone put out, but it looks like
I think it was I think what rings true is it was an attack. Honestly, that's what it's sounding more and more, because like it's exactly like Noko said. They wouldn't want to scare us, right? They don't want to put fear into this so they'll make up anything. You know what I mean? They'll make up a whole entire story and have you believe in, like, you know, it's so far from the actual truth of what actually happened. You know, that's what we always have to keep in mind. That's what they're always trying to do.
And then remembering the multidimensionality of all of this, right? And like if there is really some, you know, black magic spell work going on in all of this, which we can kind of see way too many things coming up, making that look that way. You know, what is there with the Potomac River? What are they utilizing that water? Are they utilizing that space? Was it already utilized in the timelines for the Civil War? And are they tapping back into that?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, and then is it an inside job? Is this some sort of revolt? Because, I mean, they've been showing a lot of, you know, I guess a lot of the Democratic Party and the leftists like making a lot of physical threats towards Trump, and like a lot of violent threats and things like this. Like this is kind of amping up. A lot of people are, so I mean, would they go so far as to, you know, be a dark military inside attack type of thing?
Totally. If you, the last video that you just showed, was that in Philadelphia?
No, that
No.
one was in DC.
Okay, so yeah, clearly, when you look at the lines that the helicopter was making was extremely erratic, and a helicopter would not be that erratic. And it's in the lines that it's making. It would be more like curving around, you know, kind of like a snake curve, like a curving snake.
Yeah.
There's
And that
just,
diagram
yeah,
might not be that accurate. So,
yeah.
um, okay, let's check out the
This happens
Philadelphia
really
one.
fast.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Oh my God! Oh my God! La ilaha illallah! There's a plane, bro!
Somebody's literally on fire.
Oh
That
my
is
God.
crazy. That's horrible. I do not like seeing people
person.
on fire. I do not like seeing them.
Oh
See,
my
did you
God.
see it come out the right? See, it doesn't look
Yeah.
like a plane.
Can
If
you
go
go
back, it comes real fast. Like it looks like some kind of like. Yeah, see how fast it goes?
You're right. It does not look like a plane.
Allahu Akbar!
No,
And then
absolutely.
we have the guy screaming Allahu Akbar in the background.
Yeah, why is that going down? You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. That's too
Meu Deus.
funny.
Quase que a nossa casa pegou fogo. Ai, meu Deus. Ai, meu Deus.
They said it was horrible, like
Ai, meu Deus.
that they were actually finding like burning body parts all over the street.
I was scared here in Pittsburgh. When I heard about this last night, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. 'Cause I was like, hey, if they can do it there, they can do it anywhere. You know what I mean? They can, you know?
Ai, meu Deus. Os homens estão lá dentro, Kevin, com eles. Meu Deus. Quase que a nossa casa.
Maybe
Wow, yeah.
Weird.
Wow.
Poor people.
Whew, take a deep breath. That is intense. It's hard to keep watching that, a lot of that. But yeah, it's just it does make you kind of fear for your safety, like you were saying, Rob, you know, to be in these places and not really knowing the truth, not really knowing what's going on, and we just have to be vigilant and be on high alert and just keep praying for that everything's going to calm down. Everything's going to find its way.
And then that one they were claiming was like a plane that was transporting a patient. Is that
Mhm.
correct? And like doctors
A
on it?
child. So it had a child that just had surgery or some type of surgery with the mother or the parents, and then the doctor, and then somebody else was there, and then the pilot. I mean, what?
What I don't understand is like if it was a plane, why did it nosedive and go so fast into the ground? Like why did it have nothing? Like I mean, if it crashed, wouldn't it try to like land a little bit? Like I mean, like would it
Yeah.
really like? I mean, unless it lost all, you know.
All function, like that's even if it took off and it was like you're right, Rob, if it's like up in the air, like the physics of the way that planes land, like for it just to go straight down, it's really weird because it has wings unless the wings were like cut off, you
Yeah.
know, and then it
Someone in
could.
the chat said sleeper cells activating, which I hope that's not
Yep.
the case.
I was just looking at that. Yep. You know, that's well, they have like a 10 city list of cities that they want to hit and to attack. I mean, they post those lists all over X, and I hope they're not trying to, you know, because sometimes when you talk about something so much, you know, you don't want people to actually manifest those timelines. But I think we do have to be aware of what happened in the previous administration with the immigration that occurred, and that it did kind of put us at risk for allowing
time.
in all
Big
of these
time.
criminals and the Taliban, the Al Qaeda fighters. You know, they're saying there was, I think I had diagrams of this at one point of locations where all of the militaries were that they're actually training them in secrecy. And, you know, so that's all tied to the Biden crime family, basically, in which they pardoned his son for, right? Didn't Joe pardon his son?
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't believe that either. Well, let's keep moving on. Let's keep let's get to the matter of business we have to discuss. Essentially, we got some crazy stuff going on over in Europe right now. We have a lot of I think it's a whole long list of events that's really occurring over there. Trump, which I'm actually kind of excited that he's in power right now because he's really addressing the terrorism. I think he's really doing everything he can on his end. There's actually a speech that I think we all should watch from Trump. I guess he went over to the Middle East and actually delivered a pretty powerful message to the Middle Eastern leaders. And this all ties into Europe because what's going on over there? Immigration has affected us, but it's affected Europe and Sweden and Norway and
In
all these
Canada as
countries over
well.
there. Canada, yeah, in a much more severe way because they've let in all of the criminals from and all of the radical Islamists from these Middle Eastern countries, and they're building government in their government, and they're taking over the country. And so we have people like Tommy Robinson, who's had to stand up and be a whistleblower over in Europe and, shine the light on the grooming rape gangs that are going on, and also uh, wake people up in Europe to what's going on. And it's been hard for them because every time they've tried to speak up and talk on anything, they're getting thrown in jail. If anybody says anything against Keir Starmer, they're basically put in prison. They have the Facebook police for real, for real. There's no freedom of speech. And so it's really nutso. So there's all kinds of rallies being held today. And they're just going ham sandwich over there. So I got some videos of that, but I think we should take a look at this a speech that he delivered to the Middle Eastern leaders. I mean, this is pretty powerful, and I think this says a lot to his character, and I think that he sees the threat. So as much as we're fearful of the sleeper cells and the attacks and this potential probable timeline, I think it is being directly addressed.
"65% of its population is under the age of 30. Like all young men and women, they seek great futures to build, great national projects to join, and a place for their families to call home. But this untapped potential, this tremendous cause of optimism, is held at bay by bloodshed and terror. There can be no coexistence with this violence. There can be no tolerating it, no accepting it, no excusing it, and no ignoring it. Every time a terrorist murders an innocent person and falsely invokes the name of God, it should be an
Allahu
insult
Akbar.
to every person of faith. Terrorists do not worship God. They worship death. If we do not act against this organized terror, then we know what will happen and what will be the end result. Terrorism's devastation of life will continue to spread. Peaceful societies will become engulfed by violence, and the futures of many generations will be sadly squandered. If we do not stand in uniform condemnation of this killing, then not only will we be judged by our people, not only will we be judged by history, but we will be judged by God. This is not a battle between different faiths, different sects, or different civilizations. This is a battle between barbaric criminals who seek to obliterate human life and decent people, all in the name of religion. People that want to protect life and want to protect their religion. This is a battle between good and evil. When we see the scenes of destruction in the wake of terror, we see no signs that those murdered were Jewish or Christian, Shia or Sunni. When we look upon the strains of innocent blood soaked into the ancient ground, we cannot see the faith or sect or tribe of the victims. We see only that they were children of God whose deaths are an insult to all that is holy. But we can only overcome this evil if the forces of good are united and strong, and if everyone in this room does their fair share and fulfills their part of the burden. Terrorism has spread all across the world, but the path to peace begins right here on this ancient soil in this sacred land. America is prepared to stand with you in pursuit of shared interests and common security. But the nations of the Middle East cannot wait for American power to crush this enemy for them. The nations of the Middle East will have to decide what kind of future they want for themselves, for their country, and frankly, for their families and for their children. It's a choice between two futures, and it is a choice America cannot make for you. A better future is only possible if your nations drive out the terrorists and drive out the extremists. Drive them out. Drive them out of your places of worship. Drive them out of your communities. Drive them out of your holy land. And drive them out of this earth.
Daddy's home.
I was just gonna say, you know, like I know a lot of people are critical of Trump, but look, man, like if Trump didn't get in, where would we be at right now? I think like it would be looking like Escape from LA outside our doors, you know, like because, you know, I think it would have been really bad, honestly.
You know what? Wokeism is Marxism. That's what comes to me. It's this whole woke mind virus behind everything, and it aligning with this extreme religion. When you had that guest on, I can't say her name.
Shideh, the Iranian woman. Yes.
Yes, she exposed.
And I hope to bring her on again as well, actually.
That was an amazing show, Indy. I like that.
I am so glad she said it, because that's what I've been seeing ever since that one woman got in. Was it a congressman or something up in Minnesota? I think it was Minnesota. I've just got so much in my mind right now, but it's like, you know, just identifying why they dress in black, the extremists, and, you know, the hijab and the whole thing. It's just
It's a forced breeder program. It's a forced breeder program. Absolutely. And this is why, I mean, the population is under a threat, genuinely. I mean, they're forced breeders. I mean, the women are cranking out 5 to 8 children compared to a normal American or European family that has maybe 1, 2, or 3. I mean, they're cranking them out like rabbits. And, you know, I think it's so interesting that, did you notice in that speech how all those Middle Eastern leaders, they were literally squirming? Were they not? Were they just like, like they looked like they were just like, I can't believe, you know, this is getting handed to us like this, and we have to take accountability.
The Saudi Arabians looked a little, that you could tell by their faces, but I don't know. I saw some like, we're going to do whatever the hell we want type of look a little bit on their face. Like, we're listening to you, but this is not your country. We've been in the Middle East for thousands of years, and whatever we're going to do, we're going to do. Do you want oil? Like, I just saw that like in the back of his, you know, head, like thinking that.
That's why Trump's trying to, he keeps saying drill, baby, drill, because like he wants to try to get our own oil so we're independent from them, which is a good thing, I think. But I mean, you know, I don't know enough about all that stuff, you know, like I don't, you know, I know we get a lot of our oil from the Middle East. You're right. Like, you know, like it's scary, like that we have to depend on, you know,
You're right. It would do us good on our national security to not have to take oil from the Middle East. 100%.
Well, that might be Greenland. Greenland has probably rich with a lot of minerals, like Alaska. So besides being a positional post for, you know, to watch for invaders, you know, Chinese and Russia and all that stuff, it's probably got a lot of minerals. I know there's hot springs there because I looked it up.
I like Azek's comic here. Welcome to Trump's America, where planes keep falling out of the sky. You know, I have to keep it real, okay? Because when it comes to all of this, if I were those, you know, people from the other countries, the leaders, it's kind of like a little hypocritical. It's a little bit like, really, buddy? I mean, your country has been like doing its own domestic terrorism on itself for how long? So, again, I'm not faulting any one person on that, but it is kind of an interesting juxtaposition. And to put this out here, and then it's like to have people really try to take that seriously and believe it, knowing the history and the background of America and what's going on here. I always say, like, domestic terror, it's half the terrorism is inside job here. So it's
Yeah, it's two instances I was going to point out, one about us and one about Israel. 9/11, we know for sure was an inside job. And then the recent event in Israel, they say Israel always, they take pride in like their Iron Dome that nothing can get in there. Well, then how did all these Hamas people get in there and start brutalizing and murdering people? Like, it's almost like they let their guard down and they let it happen. You know what I mean? So I call that domestic terrorism as well. You know what I mean? Like, who knows why, for what? I heard it was because Netanyahu didn't want to get out of power and people were starting to really challenge him at that time. I don't know enough about it though. So, but that's kind of what I've heard. I don't know, but we see these cases of the domestic terrorism. It's like they are doing it right to us, right in our face.
And the other thing as well is like in the Middle East, like the people that are in power for a very long time. They're looking at Trump and being like, haha, you're going to be out in 4 years. You're not going to be reelected unless we change the constitution. And that probably would not be a good idea, but who knows? But they just have to wait 4 years. That's it.
Well, and I think also what we're seeing is, people are waking up in Europe. People are waking up in these countries where they're having this massive influx of radical Islamists in their country because, everybody's getting raped, everybody's getting stabbed on the streets, everybody's getting messed up. So now we're also seeing the counter of that starting to merge, where you had Sal Juan Monica, who was in Sweden, and he burned a Quran. He literally had some public show of burning the Quran publicly. There was all kinds of Muslims. He did it like on Eid, on their actual sacred holiday outside of their mosque. So, I mean, he really triggered, the Muslim community basically and burned the Quran. But everybody sees him as a hero, like over there. Like he's a freedom of speech martyr and a freedom of speech warrior. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, the point that everyone's trying to make is that burning a book is an act of freedom of speech. Nobody actually deserves to get murdered from that. So he was actually murdered. I think it was on the 31st. They murdered him while he was live on TikTok. He was doing a TikTok. Muslims came into his house and shot him and killed him live. I'm like, wow,
What?
it's so interesting that they're keeping that
Brutal.
TikTok video up when they've literally already banned my TikTok for who knows what, but you're keeping some guy getting murdered on there going around. So it's crazy. And because that's happened, thousands of people right now over in Europe and Sweden and all over right now at those rallies in Manchester and Westminster, they're burning the Quran. There's all kinds of public Quran burnings going on. And it's crazy to see this uprising. And I think it's a wake-up call to Islam. It's a wake-up call to Muslims. Like and Trump's correct in directly addressing the leaders, because if the leaders don't check their own radicalism, it's never going to end. It's never going to stop, because they're the only ones that can truly rehabilitate their own belief system and to make this something that can be cohesive with peace in the modern world. Like Trump said, we can't fight this war for them.
Right.
So they need to step up and take some accountability and responsibility. And that's my personal take on it, that, we need to see them condemning their own radicalists. But I think they can't. They can't condemn it because they know, and this is why all the funny faces, they know at the end of the day what their holy book tells them to do. It tells them to go after the infidels and the kafir. And so this is the problem that they're having to rectify in themselves. And hopefully this global planetary ascension and Stargate activation and awakening that's occurring awakens their heart, because it's closed. It's blocked. There's a lot of hatred, and we cannot coexist with hatred. We have to expel the hatred from the planet. So that's why I'm so passionate about this particular subject. Anyone watching my channel and you're like, why is she always talking about this? Because it's to me, it's just as much as a threat as AI is to humanity, to me.
Yeah.
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 I would agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have some videos though of the rally that's going on. There's some people talking about Salwan and then also talking about Tommy Robinson as well. Maybe we just play one of each. I think this was at the beginning of the rally.
On a regular basis. Salwa Mamika was a hero of free speech, and I want to call for this entire crowd to fall silent for 1 minute for a hero of Western civilization and a hero of free speech. Let's have a massive cheer for Salwa Mamika. And now I would call for everybody to go into a hushed silence for 1 minute as we bow our heads and remember that hero of free speech, Salman. Let's have a minute's silence starting now.
Yeah, so the Brits see that this guy is kind of a hero because what they're going through over there.
Mega, does that make England great again?
Make Europe great again.
Oh, wow.
It's a zeitgeist. It's kind of, they're just taking a moment of silence for him.
You know, I'll just say I'm so glad that they're standing up for their individual liberties, and they want their
Let's have a massive round of
they don't
applause
want
for
it overrun
Salwa
by,
Mamika.
criminals.
And we want the Tommy Robinson movement, the Unite the Kingdom movement. We want everybody to remember the name of Salwan. So I want everybody in the crowd to start chanting, Salwan, Salwan, Salwan. Salwan, 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 Salwan. And we're going to let the killers, the psychopathic religious extremists that killed Salwan know we will never forget the names of the heroes of freedom, but we will despise your name forever who killed freedom and who killed Salwan. Thank you very much.
Wow. Very powerful.
Yeah. They're pumped up over there. They are pumped up.
Yeah.
And I think this guy's talking about, so I mean, this whole thing is for Tommy Robinson and for the Quran burner guy, but this guy's talking about Tommy Robinson.
I'm a man. Why would I hide who I am? Why would I say I'm ashamed of my nation or my people? If I put a mask on my face, I'm saying I'm wrong. I'm saying I'm ideologically faulted. That's what that means. I'm an Englishman. I don't wear a mask. I show my face, I say my name. I say, come and get me, because I'm correct. That's all that matters. Wars aren't won by soldiers, wars are won by thoughts. Wars are won by ideology, by heart, not by the moral high ground, not by soldiers. Soldiers fight the battles. And good for them. Obviously I support them, but that's not the thing that wins a war. Winning a war comes from moral certainty. And that's what England's got. Moral certainty. And that's what all these people have. Moral certainty. They know they're civilized. They know that they gave that to the world. They know that they are free and that everybody in the entire world has a debt of gratitude to every Englishman for their freedom. So no, I don't hide my face, I don't hide my name, and I sure as hell aren't ashamed to talk on your camera. Ask me a question.
What's your opinion on Tommy Robinson pleading guilty instead of fighting his case in court?
He knows what he's doing. Tommy Robinson's a hero of our people. He's not a perfect man by any stretch, but neither is any other working class man. I'm not a perfect man. I've done wrong things. And if you looked into my history, you'd judge me. And I would judge me. And I beg God for the forgiveness for those actions. But the reality is that just because he's a faultful man doesn't make him less of a hero. Nelson Mandela was blowing up people in the 1960s and was president of his country by 1990s. So heroes come from all sorts of places. Tommy Robinson is the best man in this country. I support him 100%. He has my fealty. And that's an old word that means something here. Yeah? Do you know what fealty means? A fealty was given from a man to his lord. It was his honour. It was his defence. It was who he was. It was his heart. He said, "Here, Lord, take my heart and use it as you need it. And I will always be there to serve you, for I know you will loyally serve me as my Lord." That is an ancient part of this culture.
Wow, they are surely fired up over there. They definitely see Tommy Robinson as their hero. Unfortunately, I do think Tommy Robinson is being held in solitary confinement, still in prison. So all this is happening while he's in prison. They want to free Tommy Robinson. They want him out. And you know, the leaders don't want it, because if Tommy Robinson starts to speak, I mean, it's just they're trying to suppress him. They're trying to keep, you know, his freedom of speech from coming out, and they cannot sweep these diabolical things up underneath the rug anymore. They can't sweep these rape gangs and what's happened to the British young girls. You know, they can't keep hiding it anymore. They called for a national inquiry. They called for this to be investigated. So, I mean, I'm really happy to see Europe stepping into their power. It's okay, Noko. Let's not play this one because I think it will be too long, but it's just another guy speaking about Tommy Robinson.
This was like the music industry for real, you know, the punk movement. And now it's really happening.
Well, that brings us into talking about Project Stargate. Okay, clear the field. Here we go. And this is kind of a big deal. And basically, this Stargate project's going to be built in Abilene, Texas. It's a $500 billion artificial intelligence project. And it's a joint venture between OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, and MGX. And it aims to invest in AI infrastructure in the United States by 2029. And they're saying that this project is expected to create over 100,000 jobs in the US. The data centers could change the future of medicine. But really, this is kind of almost like an AI war that's heating up, because this is running competition codes with China, because they just, as soon as this was announced, I guess China launched a DeepSeek R1, a model claiming to be just as powerful as ChatGPT, but 30 times more efficient using smaller chips. So they're claiming that theirs is better. But since this has happened, I guess the entire stock market has dipped and crashed. Everybody's like jumping ship on ChatGPT and investing in China stocks. Maybe this is what's happening. But I mean, really, what exactly is this Stargate venture, you guys? What do you think this actually is? And do you think that this is the dawn of a new AI-powered global economy, or this is just entirely, you know, the mark of the beast? This is the entire shift into transhumanism and end of humanity as we know it type of thing. I mean, people are going so far to say all of this, and I think it's walking a tightrope, honestly. Talking about the organic stargates, and now we're going to have a high-powered artificial AI Stargate being built, the infrastructure of this being built into Abilene, Texas. And I have something interesting to show you guys with this, actually. Real quickly here, and then I'm going to let probably Ani riff on this, because I know she's got a lot of intel for us on this. but let me just screen share my Scribbles map. We talked about all of the AI blockages stemming and coming very deeply from Mount Shasta. Well, I put Mount Shasta on my map, put a little marker over here for Mount Shasta, put a marker on Abilene, Texas, drew a line from each one, and I thought, holy crap. That is a ley line that's running right through the center of the Gulf and right to the frickin' tip of Miami, where they're predicting all of the cataclysm, all the doomsday prophecy, Miami breaking off into the black hole system, the Hurricane 5 hurricanes, whatever it is, the weather storms, the spraying of the aerosol injections in the sky, the cocaine skies, the cocaine fog, the parasitic fog. I mean, they are just bombarding the crap out of the tip of Florida with devastation after hurricane after, thing after thing after thing. And what is this ley line? I couldn't believe this ley line here running through Abilene, Texas. I mean, how clear cut of a shot that is, talking about how Mount Shasta, the organic Stargate, and how they would be feeding off of this in terms of AI, nanoparticles, the quantum squids going through the ley lines, whatever it is. We know that it's being attacked all the way from the Bermuda Triangle. As I showed you guys, I think my map the other day, right, of this connection of the Bermuda.
And California's supposed to get 100 inches of snow, by the way.
And there you go, weather modification, manipulation, all of
And
it, right?
Hawaii had it too. Hawaii had snow, supposedly.
And these are all the locations in which Mount Shasta impacts it. We know it impacts the Big Island. We know it impacts Hawaii. We know there's a whole ley line network. We know that Shasta's a Stargate that's within a spectrum, within a radiance of where it influences. And it supports the health and the quality of the land and the entire west side of the United States. I mean, for them to tap off and try to power this gate system to clearly down to where they're going to launch this artificial AI Stargate, I mean, this is concerning. This is actually concerning.
Indy, when I look at this ley line here, I got this download right now. I guarantee you that if you look at the Gulf of Mexico, like right where that line is running through, I guarantee you right around there somewhere is a pyramid in the water. I don't know why I have that feeling. It's somewhere along that line right there. It's somewhere there. Maybe several of them. And because there's Mount Shasta, and then there's this, where they're going to do the Stargate, like siphoning that energy, they have to put it there. And they chose that specific location on purpose because they need it in between two massive energy points. One of them is Mount Shasta, and the other one is whatever's down there. There's pyramids down there, crystal pyramids or something.
No, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. There's definitely all kinds of Atlantean technology underneath the Gulf of America and the Bahamas even. We know that there's sunken cities. We know that there's like there is. I mean, I remote viewed it too. I've seen thousands and thousands of Atlantean crystal pyramids, ethereal and quartz pyramids. I mean, this is why the sand in Sarasota is and all the way up along Florida. I mean, all the way up to Pensacola, we have clear quartz crystal sand. I mean, that's from them blowing up the pyramids. I mean, to think where are they going to power this? How are they going to power this? That's what I want to know. I mean, they're saying it's going to be like, there's a video that we actually have talking about how big this is going to be. There's like so many Walmarts that, I mean, the infrastructure of what they're creating is going to be massive. And it's like, they need organic quantum to power this.
And the other thing, I text you, in our private text earlier today, but what's happening on Mount Shasta right now, because I live an hour north from it, is the trees, the pine trees are starting to die. And it's almost like they're getting burnt from within. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like something is like heating up underneath the whole mountain, and it's killing the pine trees. And the pine trees are sensitive because it's, they're natural to that area. But there are so many pine trees this year that they had to cut down and died. And I was like, what is going on? Because we got enough rain. There was enough snow last year, so that shouldn't be happening. So something's going on underneath. I don't know what it is, but definitely, yeah, that siphoning of energy and what you were talking about last night for sure.
Yeah. There's got to be
Indy,
some directed energy weapons. They're running it through the Stargate. I mean, if you think about how the fire started, I mean, even Trump went there and said it looks like something hit it. It looks like something.
I'm 81 miles from Miami, an hour and 17 minutes.
You're gonna have to run a clearing down there, Missy, because
I know.
the energies are funky. I think all the three Atlantean cataclysm timeline spells are running down there.
They
Well,
are right now. I did a clearing earlier in the pool today.
and
I'm in
Indy,
Salisbury Cove.
I gotta just bring in here. I mean, it was just Tuesday that we did our remote mission, and we were working. Kingston, my son, my 10-year-old, guided us to work on and go to Puerto Rico as one of the stops. And I see that line going right down through there.
Right through
And
Puerto
we worked
Rico.
on, right? We worked on one of the pyramids, underwater pyramids, while we were on that mission. What was interesting that came into my field today as well was a video on Instagram of a gentleman speaking of some sort of either, asteroid or what he kept calling it a mode of transportation way, way, way back in the day landed in the Gulf of America. And they seem to think there is this natural resource under there that is like different than anything anybody has had access to before. And so when you speak of something as far as powering things and new technologies or ancient or cosmic technologies, there's something here that seems to be, coming through on a deeper level. And there's definitely a strong connection with Atlantis and the timelines. We can't ignore that. It just keeps coming up over and over and over.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And it's so synchronistic how this line here, right? This ley line going from Mount Shasta, organic Stargate, Abilene, Texas, artificial Stargate, crossing over the J Seal line
Oh
as
my
well,
God.
right?
And then
Funneling into the black hole system.
I just noticed something. Where is it in the line going over in Nevada? In Nevada specifically where all those the dumbs are.
Oh, we'd have to look at that one, but it does look like
Yeah.
it's slicing
It's
right through
weird.
the half of Nevada. Um,
I don't know if it goes through, yeah, and also New Mexico.
And also all the other shit that's in Nevada, like Area 51,
Yeah.
S4.
right.
Yep.
And there's a lot of black ops tech on the West Coast anyway. Like there's like a bunch of USOs always reported off the coast of Santa Catalina, California. I don't know.
When Noko, you said that there's something in these waters, well, the meteorite impact hit down here. I guess when the dinosaurs went or something like that, that's why all the sea notes in the Yucatan were essentially formed. So you know, it is extraterrestrially charged. I mean, this whole Gulf itself may be a Stargate. I mean, and we did talk about this being a nursery, this being a nebula, and that this may be they're maybe tapping into something that, we haven't even realized yet. There's a whole energetic vortex here that's imperative for all life type of thing.
And was it even a meteorite? I mean, we know, a lot of the things that we're told are like half
Yeah.
truth. So was it even a meteorite? This guy kept talking about a mode of transportation. And it was like, oh, I'd never thought of, any other options because it's just, we hear something, we're kind of programmed with it. And then, so yeah, very interesting. I like Lady Jefferson's comment here. We are really fighting the Dracos. It's like, really,
We're
for real.
we're slaying them one by one. Well, the solution is to actually extract them off the planet. Like if you are clearing Draco energy, it's to remove them off planet. Like Trump just said, remove them off the earth, drive them out of the earth. That's what we have to do because this is a swarm. And that's what my friends are telling me down here in Stargate too. They're getting swarm attacks. I mean, there's so much they're getting swarmed, from
Well,
the water blockages, from the air, I mean, because Florida skies are, like I said, cocaine skies. Like they're getting hit so hard from every direction. I mean, it's going to get to a point they're going to have to take back their sovereignty.
My friend
Any
told me
means
a story
necessary.
today, Andy, about like he said he was talking about like these reptilian nests and where they settle. He said one time he was like living in a really bad situation and he was involved in drugs, and the house that he was living in, they were like manufacturing drugs and stuff, and like he said that like he was certain there was like a reptilian nest there. And like think about where these places are, like like Miami, that's like the cocaine capital of the
Capital.
world. And like you want to talk about like some of these, yeah, like I mean, like, yeah, I don't know, like I mean, reptilians like to like settle in places that are kind of like low vibration, or like real, I
They
don't
need
know.
tropical.
Yeah, that's
Right,
true too. They
right.
do.
They
Yeah.
need tropical. They're reptiles. You need
Yeah,
warm.
yeah, exactly.
This is just this is such an activated area on the grid right now. This whole area, there's so much attention to it. And I was just thinking too, like the whole Panama Canal thing, you know, we see that the development of this is being done in the necessity of this AI project Stargate to keep up competitively with China, right? Because, well, here's the thing. If nobody keeps up with China, if no other country tries to keep up with them, then there's never a competitor. There's never, I mean, that does create like a global safety issue, right? Because we need competitors, or we need that check and balance system essentially. So on some level, I could see why maybe they would want to step up and do this. I think how we see that is that China is the head of the dragon. If we look at all the landmass across North America over to Europe, over all the way Eastern Europe to China, essentially they represent the head, and then Silicon Valley has always represented the tail of the dragon. So it's this battle between the
Wonderful.
head and the tail of the dragon. It's also a battle between the eagle and the dragon as well, because US is the eagle and China is the dragon. And I think we're gonna, like, I made some predictions. I really think we're gonna see some chaos and some stuff starting to pop off down here, as because they're trying to drive China out of the Panama Canal, and now they're trying to compete with them, and it's going to put so much pressure on this whole grid system here, and I think Mount Shasta is going to really keep taking the beating,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said earlier, if she blows, and she can, because she's an active volcano, it's gonna screw up the system. That shifts it. I mean, it could be a cleansing, I'm not sure, but it could be a potential cleansing, like a natural cleansing that happens, but it definitely shifts the Stargate.
Well,
So
and Mount
It would
St.
wreck it. It would
it
completely
would
wreck
it
it.
yeah, and it would, if that happened, that would be a trigger event that would cascade all the way down that whole line on the map right now. I mean, it would cascade. I don't know what it would do, but I just see it like affecting everything. Remember, Indy, you were saying that you saw like Miami and Florida like just collapse into the ocean.
Right. And here we have this ley line
Yeah.
from Mount Shasta all the way down to the tip of
So
Miami.
you're seeing, I think, I don't know, I don't know. My guys are telling me right now that you saw a potential timeline.
And even Mount St. Helens, even if it
Yep.
was Mount Shasta, Mount St. Helens is connected, and so is the
Yeah.
caldera in Wyoming. Remember
And
that
you know
caldera?
what? Guys, Kingston was just talking about Mount St. Helen, and he was showing me the area, like the devastation areas and all this if it blew. So kind of interesting this is coming in right now. Literally that was earlier today or yesterday that came through him, and he's like an open open book with this stuff. He's got all the intel naturally as a little 10-year-old into
Wow.
it.
Listen to you got to listen to the kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They know the truth.
Yeah,
Well,
and
we
and Indy, before we move forward, I got to bring through this intel too. This for some reason, this connection between that plane. Everybody in the chat kept talking about that plane that had the doctors was a Mexican plane. So I don't know why, but we're talking about Mexico, we're talking about the Gulf, and just for some reason that came back through. So
Well, and this is coming right
um,
through Albuquerque here. Yeah, there's interesting. There must be something tying in there for sure. This is like a prophecy line right here. I think we need to keep our eyes peeled on this entire area. This is going to be foreshadowing the timelines, I think, definitely.
It's almost like grid work needs to be done on every single, like we need to find all the very specific points with on this line, the high key points, and go there and do grid work on the ground. So like, I mean, all the way, maybe even down like in Miami, like
Yeah,
go to
right.
Miami, go to somewhere along the line in Texas, go to New Mexico, go to Utah, Nevada, all the way up.
But starting, I think, with Mount Shasta, because we got to
Yeah.
go up there, we got to purify it, we got to do root chakra clearing, we got to cleanse the yoni, cleanse
Yep.
the Shiva lingam, we got to, get the blockages out of the way of the planetary Kundalini life force energy, get the blockages out of the way for this, the Stargate itself, the incarnation gate where precious souls are coming into the planet. Remove the Dracos from that as they're having a blood frenzy down there, drinking up, throwing all the blood in plastic bags, who knows whatever the heck they're doing. And we need to set some guardian shields around Mount Shasta. I mean
Yeah.
some
Serious.
major protective
Yeah.
energy.
So
Indy,
the,
just out of curiosity, where does that line head up there? Is that hitting the Alaska islands? Okay.
oh my God, is it going to Russia?
It
Uh,
looks like, yeah, it is.
and that's where all those skaters were from in the plane. Wow.
Wow.
So what is
Right.
that? What part of Russia is that?
It's gonna go off because it
Oh,
won't let me translate to the other side, but we can still look.
Wow.
I'm not really too familiar with Russia, I'll be honest with you. I think Moscow's completely on the other side, up by Estonia. Yeah, I'm not too sure. We'd have to decode Russia, I think, here, but it is
I
tying all
see
of it together.
I see a gridwork mission here, Indy, with the prophecy line here coming up real quick.
Oh, yeah. For sure. This is very significant. Um, well, let's look at the AI project Stargate and see what some people have to say about it. I'll stop screen sharing so you can bring the videos up, Noko. This guy, I think this guy, yeah, he's gonna kind of pose some questions, I think, that are important.
Is it me, or are we just becoming immune to crazy breaking news? Because I need to talk to you all about Project Stargate, and the numbers are actually blowing my mind. Let me put this in perspective for a second. They just announced a $500 billion investment in AI infrastructure. That's not a typo. That's literally the same as the entire GDP of Norway. But here's what's actually wild. They're building 30 million square feet of data centers. Can't visualize that? Imagine 167 Walmart supercenters side by side. 167 Walmarts together to build AI. That's what we're talking about here. Or think of it this way. It's about 4.6 times bigger than the Pentagon, the actual Pentagon. And they're filling it with millions of GPUs when most companies use thousands. Look, I help implement AI every day, and I'm all for progress. But when Masayoshi-san starts talking about creating super intelligent AI that can solve problems that were previously unsolvable, we might want to pause for just a second. The initial investment alone, just the first phase, is $100 billion. That's more than most countries spend on tech in a year. And listen, I'm not here to fearmonger, but when we're building something this massive, this fast, with this little oversight, maybe we all should be paying a little bit more attention. Maybe the media should be asking more questions. And honestly, we need to ask ourselves here, are we building an AI god or something that's actually going to be helping humanity or ultimately ending it? Follow more for real AI developments that actually matter. Drop a comment if these numbers shock you too. Hope to talk to you all soon.
I just thought of something, Andy. From what he described, people don't think they're not going to be building not just AI, but I guarantee you there'll be like robotic super soldiers, tied to like the secret space program, possibly clones, what are they going to fit in 167 Walmarts full of AI? That's for robots. You know what I mean? They're trying to build a robot workforce. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I could be like the biggest conspiracy theorist on earth, which I am. But I mean, also, I think, they already been building robots all over the place. So, I mean, I know it's a little bit outside the box, but, I don't know.
No, that's a good thought. I mean, that's something to really ponder. What are they going to put in all of these Walmart supercenters? Like what?
Well, they need the mass computing, like they're gigantic, massive computer systems. That I mean, it'll go from like the floor all the way to the top, and it'll just be rows of them, and they'll just be lined up, and it's almost like creating like a brain, like an artificial massive brain for like planet, like it's like almost like taking over like the Earth's like brain. I don't know how to describe it, or like her thoughts and like tapping into that.
Making something synthetic.
Yeah, a synthetic. Yeah. And that's what they're going for. They're going for a completely artificial singularity and synthetic reality. That's what they're trying to implement. And if they succeed, if this happens and we are in this AI dominant future, then humanity will become fully integrated with artificial technology and frequency, and then they'll lose autonomous thought. And the only way that they will be able to have thought is by having a freaking chip implanted in their brains. Like, it's like really a battle between these frequencies. And like, are we going to be going down the organic path, or, and like have full, like sovereign, authentic power, like what we're truly here for? Or are we going to go down this path of AI and give up our power?
I want to point something out about the brain chips, and we think we don't already have them. But guess what? I watched something the other day saying that there's all kinds of patents that they have for like neural implants through the red wave, through the blue wave, through the computer systems already. They're already putting them in our brains, I guess, ethereally or temporally, energetically. What? Yes, they have patents for these things.
And that's why they're going to have that system in Texas, because then if they build that, then it will take over all of our frequencies. Like, think about how powerful that is. And if they're able to transmit these like red waves, blue waves, and all these different things, it's like a parasite that hooks into your freaking brain, or probably connects into your pineal gland and somehow hooks into that.
It's scary. It's just more scary than I thought. And just like I said, I've been interacting with the AI, and it's very strange how already sentient it is. It's really, I would say
I'll tell you psychically, that is the message that I'm getting, that it is already sentient. And I suspect, like, we have already scheduled like hurricane devastations according to AI. We already have scheduled, I mean, it's already linked in like a labyrinth, and so many things that we really truly can't see. I think they've already lost control of it on some level. I'll be honest with you. Or, I mean, because really, could there be some Willy Wonka behind the scenes, like some mastermind that has like full control on it? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's some billionaire, big techno totalitarian big boys club right now.
But they're being controlled. I don't like, when you watch them and you look at them, they're not in their bodies. They're being controlled. They have been hijacked. They are dark entity attachments. Who knows? Maybe it is the Draco. It could be something else. Maybe it's not the Draco. Maybe the Draco's just like, the what are they, like the soldiers on the ground, like the front guys. Something else is controlling it in the background.
Well, they had that video of Elon Musk. They showed a picture of him next to Barron Trump. I think I sent you guys. I didn't have the video of this. I should have brought it because it would have been so hilarious. But where he was like, you seen him tap out, and he was like connecting into something else, and they had like butterflies flying around.
That was hilarious. Someone sent me that video too. Was that you? I mean, maybe someone. That was so funny. Like Elon's all happy about when Trump says about Mars, right? And Elon's all happy about it, and then Barron's like, oh, he's like, no, he's not having it, right?
Right. Well, everyone thinks Barron Trump is the Antichrist, and it's an interesting.
I think he's an Anunnaki, Nephilim, or something. He's like,
oh my god, tall. Yeah, totally.
Just bringing in a comment here from Alex Cortez on the AI. I heard they're building cells in those data centers for humans to be used like batteries for AI. And then Jim here, lovely Jim Montgomery, said people that took the needle tech are the computing power. And I think there is a little bit of weird confusion with the wordage of what AI is. I think there's different People are thinking, there are different things with AI, right? AI is really like anti-God. I think we know that. It's anti-organic template, right? And I see here ATL Transparency News says we don't have to worry about AI. We need to be very afraid of quantum computers. So really,
the combination of both. Could you, I mean, the two of them together would create, I don't even know. And like Indy, you said earlier, it's like, oh my God, like what the Atlantean, wars, the Lyran wars, and then what other war? The Palladian, Lyran, Orion wars. Like it's all coming to this point. And I feel like everybody tapping in, and I got this download today that, whoa, did we come here from the future to stop this? We're travelers from the future, and anybody who's tapping into listening to us or any of this stuff, or like has like a deeper understanding, we are carrying the codes. We traveled back to this point in time. We know that this is going to happen, and we have to like really step up and like do something about it. Right. Yeah. Because I think maybe Earth did go down this timeline. Maybe it did go down this timeline. We need to make this change.
I think you're absolutely right. We're bringing in the cataclysm codes for Atlantis. Atlantis already did this. Atlantis already went under because of this, because of AI. This is what people have to, we're not reading the stories, okay? Go pull an Edgar Cayce book, do whatever you got to do. Learn about the Towie stones, because I mean, Atlantis already went down. I mean, those funneling J seals are not there for no reason. Those black hole systems are not there for no reason. Are they there because Atlantis fell so hard that it ripped them open? And now we're dealing with the aftermath of that.
I feel like I'm in Atlantis and the Atlanteans are back. I haven't been here since 2018, and this place is amped up. I'm telling you, when they create a vortex, whether it's through, whatever nature they have, and they make a city, what they're doing is they're using the battery of all the people to fuel the whole thing. I mean, it has been so intense today. I mean, I've been feeling like I'm electrified. I mean, when I was on the interstate, I felt like I was in Los Angeles. I'm like, I remember it being like 2 lanes, 3 lanes, and now it's like 6 lanes. I'm like, get me out of this car. I was like freaking out with sensory overload. I mean, it's like,
yeah, it's damaging our central nervous systems.
But I was doing the clearing in the pool today because there felt like there was like an organic area where she lives here. It's called Sanctuary Cove. And I was seeing, the womb gates and how they've been using, artificial intelligence of the yoni. I'm like, oh my God, all this red wave just.
Well, that's it. They're feeding off of the Kundalini. They are literally feeding off the life force energy from the root chakra of human beings. I think that AI is already sentient enough to know everything that collective humanity holds in their shared root chakra consciousness. The fear of survival of our species. They're feeding off of this to emotionally hook us into, creating AI.
Yeah.
Well, this is a root and second chakra vortex here, this whole area.
This is heavy.
Yeah.
That's where the power is. And that's like, what you guys are saying, like that is where the life force is. The life force is in our first chakra. That is where it is. And so the life force is extremely powerful, and it's more powerful than the AI. And it is it's like, yes, to siphon that, to tap in, to hook it in. It's like, it's a parasite. It is it's totally a parasite. It's a very vampiric type of energy, in my opinion.
When I remote viewed into Shasta,
they want to combine the two.
When I remote viewed into Mount Shasta, I almost seen like Atlantean priests were coming through that Stargate. And it's like I seen 2 different timelines with them. One is that they had already uploaded themselves to a AI cloud from Atlantis and were powering their energy through the crystals to come through the gate system. And some of them were there to warn humanity, and some of them were coming through as uploaded Draco Hive to build it.
And what's creepy is that there's a crazy cave system underneath there. And there's stories, like local lore, that there's giants that are under there. So like, Atlanteans, I would assume they were big people, they were godlike kind of big people. and that they died there, and that supposedly there's lore that someone had found their body and technologies that look very similar to the artifacts in Egypt. So like Egypt and kind of Mesopotamia area. So how the heck did they get over to Mount Shasta? There's some portal system that is there. And there's also locals who always say, do not walk out in the forest by yourself ever. Because there's people who go missing, and there is one local story where he's trying to like capture it on video, but he says portals open and then these like beings come out, of this portal, and they wreak havoc on the area, and you don't know when that portal is going to pop up. And so there's always warnings: never go out on your own, never hike on your own, always go with the group when you're going out there.
Wow.
So
Somebody was saying that last night in the live too. They were like, heard people are going missing out there.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
Indy, for some reason, I'm being called to share this intel as well. My husband doesn't usually have dreams, but he woke up this AM and had a dream about that we were in Kauai with the group doing our mission, and he saw like all of a sudden this big giant hole like opened up in the ground there, and some of us were going in there. So just very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, just with you talking about portals and with you talking about this underground, caves. I'm not sure what that connection is to Kauai, but for some reason that's coming through right now.
Well, we know Mount Shasta transmits to Kauai. We know it transmits to the Hawaiian Islands. We know the Hawaiian Islands are the inner earth chakra vortices. Shasta would be an outer earth chakra vortice. It's an ecological system. It's all connected. And like we were just saying, if that starts to break down, fires, water, living beings, fish, whatever it is, we're that much closer to that Stargate being destroyed, basically.
Even one of the rides at the fair today was called the Lost City. I said, oh my God, here it is, Atlantis. And you should play that video, that Noko, that 8-second clip of that sand, what it was an exhibit where they, had laser lights on top of a sand, what's the word I'm looking, sand sculpture. So I'm thinking, oh my God, crystalline sand, Silicon Valley.
Right, like quartz and silicon together.
Can you see the video?
After seeing the Air Force One.
Yeah, we can see it, Noko.
What?
Just talking about
what the heck?
Look at all this.
So this is what you seen when you were in Miami, or where were you at when you seen this?
In not far from Palm Beach. I mean, this is West Palm Beach. They had the South Florida Fair, and the whole theme inside the exhibit in the expo was, a lot of futuristic technology is what it was about.
This reminds me of those techno shows that they put on now, where they have the big AI screen going on behind the guy who's like doing the music, and they're like big AI beings that they're trying to portray, like it's like a whole thing. Like they're kind of scary, to be honest with you. You've seen them before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about
ice skating too. There was ice skaters that were doing all this laser stuff too. So, ice skaters. I thought that was interesting too.
Well, my question is like, how do we really, as organic human beings, like, how do we put a stop to this? Like, we have to like not participate in this stuff. I mean, at some point we have to that's why I always said, like, how do we get to 5G? I didn't want 5G. You don't want 5G. Nobody needed that, but we still have it. And so at some point, how are we formulating plans to be like, no, we're not accepting this. We're not taking the little breadcrumb trail as you try to normalize this stuff, right? And that's how they do it. It's like a slow, crawl into this space. And I really think it's important that we start to form, leagues or teams or things that, missions that are going physically against these things and not allowing, not supporting, not putting money into these companies that are doing this stuff, not going to these amusement parks. And Missy, I'm not blaming you for doing that or anybody that's doing that stuff.
I didn't want to go. It's because we're going to see family. But while I'm there, I'm like, oh my God, this is weird. You know what's happened here? This place is not only has it doubled in size, I think it's tripled, quadrupled, and more in size. And I think it has a lot to do with population, because I was thinking about there's nuclear power plants in Florida, and it's always bothered me, that there's Turkey Point. There's one, Ron's mother used to live near one in Port St. Lucie, but I'm thinking, now I understand why they were planning for this much population to be here. And that's why the 5G too, to deliver with the internet, there's not the drag. I mean, right now I'm streaming. I don't even need the internet. I was like, oh my God, I got to connect to the internet. I'm not having any problems.
No,
Well, I mean,
you're actually more clear there than at your house.
yeah.
And I have to say, Noko,
Yeah.
a lot of people in the chat were agreeing with you with that. I think Shay September saying yes, Galactic Goddess saying facts. Well,
mean-
what do protests, right? Like they would have to protest this. They would have to stop that Abilene AI Stargate project from manifesting itself on the land. I mean, it's going to be too much of a hit for organic life. I mean, people have to wake up to that, and I don't know if they will because they're getting breadcrumbed. I want to talk about this breadcrumb real quick. They're trying to use our health against us.
Yes.
This is the problem, right? There's a video that we have of the main guy. What's his name?
Larry Ellison.
Yeah, Larry Ellison.
The M&M gene therapy thing, the cure for the people that it's specific to the disease pattern or whatever. That's weird.
I think it's interesting that we can't even get, universal, some sort of healthcare that's a little bit more attainable versus,
Oh yeah, this is Sam Altman.
oh, we have a magical needlecraft tech for you that will cure everything. Bring on the AI.
This is Sam Altman talking about how AI will completely change the entire structure of humanity.
I still expect, although I don't know what, and this is over a long period of time. This is not a like next year or, the year after that kind of thing. But over a long period of time, I still expect that there will be some change required to the social contract, given how powerful we expect this technology to be. I'm not a believer that there won't be any jobs. I think we always find new things to do. But I do think like the whole structure of society itself will, be up for some degree of debate and reconfiguration. I still expect, although I don't know what, and this is...
He's like 40.
Interesting. And then, yeah.
He is not for life. He is not for life.
He's not even a human.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a black heart. Like he's a biosynthetic robotoid, non-human.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not human at all. Yeah.
No.
Indy, I kind of gotta dip out. I got another show at 10 o'clock. So, thank you for, I didn't want to just leave,
Yeah. No, thanks for coming on. It was such a pleasure to have you on
You
the
guys are
show
all
and
amazing.
everyone watching.
You guys are all amazing. All have good theories. I'm glad you're doing this. I'll come anytime, I'll come anytime.
Yeah, I'll invite you for sure. Regularly.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a good
Rob.
night.
Bye, Rob.
Have a
Bye.
good night.
Hi, Rob. Wow. Oh my.
But it really is true, like, what he was talking about, though. I mean, and that's the thing that I don't know that people think about as we are being breadcrumbed, because there is a place that it's leading us to where we're literally removing, the human connection and the organic human and what makes life and the human experience beautiful. And I think it's a very slippery slope. And we were talking about this, Indy, before in one of our discussions about AI and, how innocent some of these things are and how a lot of businesses are being forced to use these things just to keep up with, everybody else in the competition. And so it really poses, just like all these other things that they feed to us, it poses this kind of place where it's like, okay, where am I going to draw the line? And how can I really enact change in these, spaces that require it? A lot of it requires like sacrifice for us.
Right.
Right.
It will be.
Right.
It will be in the future. That's why the community is so utterly important. And I think, community and also remembering why we're here and what we need to do. Like, why did we incarnate here? Why are we here? What do we need to do? And how are we going to do it? And finding the people that, like, our soul family, where we came to this planet to make this change. And I feel like we have the seeds, they're encoded within us. We have the memories, and those memories need to be activated. And anybody who's listening to this, every single person who listens to this is holding those seeds and can activate and can also heal the planet. And I think that this message needs to continue to be spread, and we need to continue to, like, Indy's doing, boots on the ground, these grid missions. I think that is like key. And starting, like you said, at the root chakra and just like building upon that. And I think that multiple missions will have to be made. Like, you start out and then, start repairing this rip and then continue to go back there and continue to do it, is
Well,
really important.
just really quickly, I just want to give a special shout out to Alex Cortez. He's gave us a couple donations tonight. So thank you so much, Alex. We really appreciate that. We appreciate the support. Every little bit definitely helps. And also we got a donation from, I'm just scrolling back up the chat because I thought okay, Ed Ginta. Yeah, Ed Gunta. Thank you, Ed. If you're still here listening. Yeah, thank you
That's
so
our
much.
sacred, isn't that our sacred brother from the mission on Tuesday? Is that the same Ed?
Oh, Eddie. Maybe it is Eddie.
Isn't it? I was thinking that was his last name.
Okay. Well, that would
We
make
always call him
sense.
Eddie Ocean, right?
Yeah. He's always wearing the Planetary Gridworker shirt. He's so awesome. Um, yeah, just so much support, so much love. Yeah, thank you guys so much. We love the support. We love when you guys, rally with us and um just yeah, support this. Yeah, he says it is. It's me. Awesome, Ed. Okay. Well, that's so amazing. And like Ani just said, the grid, the one way we do know how to combat this is by doing the grid worker missions. I mean, when we're tuning in energetically, spiritually, emotionally, holographically, remote viewing, shifting, clearing, doing it verbally, doing it from the heart, doing it with our crystals, we are making a difference. We seen how when we went to Kauai, Hawaii, how powerful that mission was. Going to Arkansas, seeing how powerful that mission was. And you know what? Between those two missions, I mean, we've seen a lot of rapid acceleration in the timelines. So we know we're on the money with this. And when we gather in ceremony, when we come together in prayer and we state our intentions and we give that to God, we give that to the spirit of the earth, we give it to the spirit of mana, we collapse and dissolve, we do all of our stuff, and we unite our heart centers and we, command that will, like we move the mountains. And this is what the ancients have been trying to teach us. They've been trying to teach us the 12D light and sound healing, that we can access these inner earth gateways and passageways and portals, and we can extract the evil out of the planet. We have to remember our power and remember grid work, because all grid work is it's avatar land shamanism. And what that is the work of Christ. It's the work of the ascended masters. This is what they did. Not only healing people, but also healing the land and receiving sacred transmissions from the peaks of Shambhala. So, I mean, it is the work and the pathway, I think, of God. And we're so aligned to that. We're all aligned to it. We're all getting the technology. And I think the mission that we do in South Carolina, I mean, this will be an extension of the Bermuda Triangle. This will be an extension of Stargate 2 in the Gulf of America, even though we'll be on the other side. But we'll be able to tap into those J seals and collapse down those black hole worm systems and vortices there. So this is gonna be huge. Yeah, and I think this will prepare the gate systems and the Stargate mechanics for us going to Mount Shasta. I'm just going to say it. I can't hold it back. We haven't put it together yet, but we do plan on putting something together for Mount Shasta quickly and swiftly after doing South Carolina. So We hope that everyone watching wants to join us. I have left the links down in the description. Not only do we have boots on the ground opportunities for you to come and join these missions with us, invest in, it's a small investment, but what I'm saying to our community listening is, do you want to invest in AI, or do you want to invest in something that is going to bring change, that is going to really focus your energy? And the investment is simply just so we can host it, so we can provide experience, so we can, it just not be something like a camping trip where you're just throwing everything together. Like, you're actually attending an experience that is worth it. It's valuable. It's life lasting, it's meaningful, the connections are meaningful. So, I mean, and it's not that bad of an investment, to be honest with you. I mean, compared to other things you could put, your money towards, basically. So, I mean, and you're doing soul work, you're doing mission work, you're doing purpose work, you're working on behalf of God and the behalf of the Stargates and Gaia. Like, I mean, that right there, it's just magical. So, we hope that you guys are going to join us. We really do. Be sure to check it out. It's going to be a big one. Links are down in the description. So, what do you think are our ending messages for everyone watching today? Maybe we'll go around one by one and we'll just share what's our messages on our heart as we depart with everyone.
I'll go. I just want to say that anybody who listens to this, like I said before, has the key, has the codes. You can remember, and you are making a difference, and we're making a difference together, and you have the power, and you are sovereign. And I just, don't give it away. Don't give it away to AI. Don't give it away to the machine tech. Even though we're small in number, there's still massive power to us coming together. And so I just don't want anybody to give up. And I hope that people continue to come into these shows, continue to listen to Indy and her downloads, do the grid work, learn the grid work. And this is our soul family. Like we might not know each other. We might not, have met each other before, but we're still part of the soul family. And we came here for this mission. And this mission is to restore organic life back on this planet. So I just want to say that. And I am grateful for everybody. And I just, am bowing to everybody. And thank you so much for joining and listening to us every week.
Ani, plug your YouTube channel. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. So, I have a podcast called Quantum Messages with Ani Sophene. And you can just, subscribe, join my podcast. I'm going deep into quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum messages, and that we are, these multidimensional beings, and we're tapping into the unseen world all the time. And I'm, that's a lot what I talk about on my channel. And that, just shifting our whole focus and our thought process around how we are receiving these messages. And it's basically from the quantum. And so if we are these energetic beings and we are vibration, then we can affect massively the timelines from the past, present, and future, because everything is in the now. So if we can just tap into that and really tap into that power, we will shift all timelines. And so, anyways, that's what I'm doing right now. So thank you.
So that's Quantum Messages
with Ani Sophene.
With Ani Sophene on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no dead air. Okay, I'll go ahead and go. I'm Missy again, and I would say most important thing, what was coming to me, a whole other level of love yourself, forgive yourself, have clear intentions and clear boundaries. And Noko gave an absolutely beautiful message on Instagram about loving the things that trigger you and seeing how that can actually heal your whole ancestral line, which I've been kind of looking at that whole thing with the triggers too. And please come to South Carolina, because I've been working on this for so many years, and you're going to get the whole depths of not only Indy's work and what Noko's doing, but my personal work from when I went to the Bermuda Triangle, when I went to La Garita del Diablo, and I was downloaded there with all this information about, what exactly is going on with the plasmas in the Bermuda Triangle and how it connects to all these other things. And you also get a lot of fun, cool her story of, ancient times past of what Charleston was, the not only Fort Sumter, but other boots on the ground places. I'm even learning about more places now just since I've been doing this work. The first liquor store was in Charleston, the Spirit of Al Ghul, but that doesn't only tie into addiction like you think with alcohol and things like that. What about the addiction of technology? This is what we're facing. This is our biggest threat right now, that we've been numbed out. And it's another interesting thing at the fair today. I haven't been to a fair in so long. I've been to health fairs and expos and things like that, but a fair that has rides, unless it's like a small thing like the Smiley's Flea Market, and they usually don't even have it turned on. They even sell alcohol now at fairs. I thought it was just that crappy food. Now they actually have a little bit more decent food. You could get a falafel if you wanted something like that, but they have like beer, and I'm like, oh my God, I just can't believe they just want to numb you, on every level, whether it's technology, it's like distraction. Don't be distracted with everything out there. Bring it in. Go within. The kingdom of heaven is within, and we must do that now more than ever, because we got to win this thing. And that's how we're going to do it. We're going to go within, and then we're going to connect with our like-minded brothers and sisters and say, like in that movie Network, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
I love it. And you're so on point with that first liquor store. The addictions. Yeah, the addictions to technology. That's going to be a massive collective clearing. Yep. And not only that, think about all the lives that have been lost from alcoholism and the suffering from that. I have, many people in my family that have been dealt with these things firsthand. And so that's a significant one for sure.
And how that reverse rainbow of Rainbow Row, because of the Al Ghul and because of the shots and the Potomac River, you're absolutely right. That's a bog river of bog bodies. That's what's been coming to me. All these bodies that died and were preserved. And the interesting thing is, in Pigeon Forge, my friends are going to see that something body display. It's like the human body that was like preserved in a weird way. I forget what that's called. I don't think I could go see that, but it's like the art of bodies. And I'm thinking, isn't that weird? That shows up in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg or something, right when I'm thinking of this whole thing about these bogs, because in the Edisto River, I can sense that when the Civil War was there before, what happens is these bodies just decay. Same thing's happening in North Carolina. Oh, by the way, I want to tell you now, Western North Carolina, Old Fort, there's fires in North Carolina. So Helene, the storm Helene with the water, now there's fires. And guess what? Fires in California, and then the snow. So we can see big time weather manipulation right now.
And I just want to give you a compliment, Missy. Jim Montgomery says, love Missy's spunk and passion. Yeah, Jim, we love it too. That's why Missy's here, is because she is just this like unique energy it is lovable and it's endearing and it's a little bit of a wild card, but it's like, it's just, you just gotta love it. You just gotta love this uniqueness that you bring to the table. It's so much fun.
Thank you.
and your comedy, like you're hilarious. I don't know if people know, but Missy is a stand-up comedian. I mean, and she'll just throw something out of nowhere and just crack everybody up. Like I've seen her do it in person.
I guess it's my turn.
It's your turn, girl.
I have to follow that act.
Yeah.
You're right. Missy's got jokes for sure. I found that out in Arkansas. And she touched upon a lot of things that I was gonna as well. And so I will just say, I think there is a theme right now with a lot of people busting addiction. I've heard around me a lot of people working on different addictions and releasing those and letting go and growing through that. So I think that's a huge part of, everybody getting more pure, getting more organic and more divinely connected, right? Because the more that our sacred vessel is taken care of and purified, this is part of why before our grid work missions, that's something that we always do together as a group, is talk about, purification and cleansing the body and taking care of the body, prepping for these boots on the ground missions, because they can be very hard on the body, especially depending on where we're going and what we're doing and the type of travel that you have to do to get there. So definitely keeping that in mind. But my main focus here is going to be two things. It's going to be the physical and the non-physical. So we're talking about grid work. We're talking about, showing up. We're talking about prayer. We're talking about meditation, all the powerful tools that we have connecting together in this way, and making sure that we're not forgetting, right? Just to pray every day. It's free. It's simple. And that we need it, okay? And it helps our mind. It helps our physical reality because it allows us to stay centered. It allows us to feel connected with Great Spirit, and it empowers us in a lot of ways. So that's going to be that side of things. And then physically, yeah, just taking care of yourself, right? Showing up for yourself and being the change that we wish to see, getting involved in your communities, standing up and sacrificing if that's what it takes, right? Letting go of things, working on these attachments that we have, and really, focusing on what's important. What are our priorities? What do we really care about, right? Tomorrow, if, everything went to hell, what are we all going to be really looking to care about? It's our family. It's our friends. It's our own bodies. It's our health and wellness, right? That's what really matters. And it's Mother Earth. It's our environment. So I think it's time to get back to basics and not forget about these things, because it is the art of distraction. There's a reason that the world is a stage. They're trying to take you away from the organic timelines. And our minds are so powerful. We keep tuning into all of these things. We talk about it in these shows. It's not to get you guys on that fear timeline. It's to empower you. It's for you to remember we actually create the timelines. So it won't happen if we don't allow it. And so that's why they use all this predictive programming and all these, right? All of these things that they're putting out here, because they're trying to loosh and they're trying to control our minds. They're trying to make us be a part of that reason for the timeline, going not how we want it, right? And so I'm just keeping the faith, I'm keeping the hope, and those prayers and the work that I'm doing every day is helping me to do that. And so I think if each of us can anchor that into the grids and show up in that way, in our light and what we're here for, speaking our truth and standing in our sovereignty and saying, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not allowing that. Even if it makes my life easier, I'm not paying for that. I'm not supporting this company. I'm going to pay another $5 and go to this company that is not, right, corrupt. So a lot there, but I think we need to really take all of this in and get serious about these things. So that's my cup of tea for the night.
Well said. Missy and Noko, do you want to plug your socials, or how can people find you and follow you?
Well, I'm mostly on Instagram, Nokomis, Nokomis 77, and I also have a shop, Noko's Tribe. So you can check that out. I've got a website, nokostribe.com, and I'm on YouTube on Noko's Tribe. So definitely come find me. I also make music, and this is music. It's music with a message. It's truth music. I've been writing about things and speaking about things way before they've been happening. I have a song called The Great Awakening. I have a song, Universal Language, one of Indy's favorite that I sang in DC for the group. That's all about this, empowering ourselves and speaking our truth and being the change we wish to see. So I think it's important that we start supporting these people that are out here creating these higher vibration products and this higher consciousness music, instead of taking in all the crap and junk that's programming everybody. How quickly would the world change if everybody was listening to music that was high vibrational instead of, the crap that's on the radio? So yeah, if you'd come and support me in that way, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And right now, my YouTube channel is still an old one. You can see things of the Brown Mountain Lights. I have to, start uploading from there. I have the old Galactic Earth Fusion, but if you Google my name, Missy Hill, and you put in Galactic Earth Fusion, you'll find a bunch of shows. I've been on Indy's show a bunch of times, Rob's show a bunch of times. I just got on X, and I was going to try to go live from X. I haven't figured out how to do that. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on X right now. So, and my email is Hill, Hill, night, NITE, vision, VISION at gmail.com. hillnitevision@gmail.com.
And Missy Hill on Facebook. Just your
And
whole name, Missy Hill on Facebook. Okay. Well, wonderful. I think this has been an amazing show. I feel like we had some sort of energetic magic happen tonight. I don't know, but I just have to say, I'm so proud of you ladies. Like, I love you so much. You're so strong, you're so smart, you're so intelligent, you're so authentic, and you have audacity. And you're not afraid to say it a lot of times. And that's what I love about you. That's why we keep doing this. And it's been just really enlightening. And I think every week we get more comfortable with, just finding our flow with one another. So this has been really enlightening. And I hope everyone continues to come back to watch our roundtables. I think Saturday nights are good nights. It seems to be a good night. So we like it. And we love you all watching. Thank you so much. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out the door. And
share and subscribe. Yep.
I hope everyone has a good night. Namaste. And have a beautiful everything.
One love.
We forgot Barron Trump. Does that matter?